War is bad, so much so that, as Martin Luther himself pointed out, war is the greatest plague that can affect humanity. It destroys religion, it destroys states, it destroys families. Any scourge is preferable to it. So how can we prevent war? Well, how about we prevent the AI having troops? If they have no one to do war, that means war rate will drop to 0. Global peace will be achieved, right? Let's start by going into the code and commenting out every single time in a miltech there is a new unit unlocked. This means that you can't build any military units, or start with military units since you don't know of any military units' existence. Nice! Let's take a look at what this looks like in game. Here we are on France, and as you can see, despite having the Western unit tech, and also having Miltech 3, they have no possible units to build, and the French have no standing army, much like everyone else in the world. Perfect. So we've done it. We've solved the problem. Alright, it's 1451, let's check in on the world, and why is Castile invading Aragon? How do they have 16,000 men? They shouldn't have those. No, most countries still don't. How did they? Pretender rebels. Of course, if you break to pretenders, you just get those troops. And Castile has a lot of pretenders they can break to explain how Navarra has 6k as well. That is a problem. Okay, back to the drawing board. So let's nuke everyone's force limit down to 1 and make all units cost 10k ducats each. Now, no one can afford any army ever. Let's pop in on France, and okay, so we made troops so expensive that hiring the Grand Company actually gives you 1,000,000 ducats. The soldiers are so expensive they pay to fight for you. Congratulations. Okay, third time's a charm. Let's make all units cost 1k ducats each. And with force limit sitting at 1k, the AI shouldn't build troops, but we also shouldn't hit any stack overflow issues. So that means the only way to even gain up to 1k is through rebels, but if that happens, you're still going to be immediately bankrupt. You can also still hire mercs technically, but considering the smaller stack costs the same as 10 manufactories and sets you at like 4x your force limit, that shouldn't be happening. Oh, if only the AI had infinite money now. Well, it's working a lot better. There aren't really troops around, there's still boats, and we have a lot of rebels, but hey, it's working a lot better. And let's check the ledger then. Some nations do have troops. I'm assuming that's because they have rebels that broke to them. Marwa, for example, should. Yeah, they can't afford this. They can't afford this. No, they can't afford this. This unit has no pips, by the way, so it can't actually fight. But it also, they can't afford these units that have no pips. Oh no, the Rassids went to war with their 1k stack. They can never siege this fort. And they can't afford it. Oh no, they have 63 loans. Oh no. Oh no. They're about to go bankrupt, aren't they? Oh no. I guess that's one way to prevent people having armies. Instant bankruptcy if you ever so much as dare to have them. And, yep, there we go. There we go. They are not deleting that. They really should delete that guy. They're not, because, oh no. Oh no, Rassids. Oh no. This 1k force limit is really backfired, I'm not gonna lie. This might be a small problem. I don't know how to fix this. I guess the world is like mostly disarmed. I mean, it's just like an extra 1,000. Who really cares? It doesn't have enough of an impact. Yeah, no, I don't know how to prevent this. They just went bankrupt again, by the way. Oh well, screw it. Let's run it to 1500 and see what happens. So here we are in the world in 1500, and as we can see, though little has actually changed. I guess Aragon's managed to inherit Navarra, congratulations. But outside of a couple of vast annexations and England doing absolutely nothing, and it has had most countries have done absolutely nothing, it's just a world breaking to rebels. Poor Austria here with Styria just popping out of them. I guess they got those event rebels and couldn't do much about it, so oops. Yeah, Lithuania did somehow manage to eat a bit of Crimea, although that might have been rebels, to then only get rebels back again. So it's one way of getting troops, that's for sure. Byzantium's alive, and by some miracle, I don't know how the Ottomans managed to expand, but they did. Still managing to eat Byzantium without troops. The world ledger is, yeah, quite a few countries are unfortunately running 1k stacks. People like England included, and I doubt they can afford it. Although maybe England actually can afford it. Can they afford it? England can actually afford a 1k stack. I don't know what it's doing in Tyrone, but I mean, they're trying, I guess. I guess they are trying to invade Ireland. It's just not necessarily working, and they are throwing themselves into the grave by running 22k on this guy. But you know, they're trying. We have to commend that. Especially considering it cost $1,000 to hire the guy, I have to commend them on that one. Although, no, they probably went through the English Civil War and just had pretenders. Yeah, they probably went through that and just had pretenders. So that's a deleted guy from that. But yes, the world is very covered in rebels. I did mildly forget that troops aren't just used to stabbing the enemy, they also need to stab rebels, and even if you're not expanding, you're still going to have pretenders. So the peasants are having a field day. I guess yeah, that's the other thing, to be fair, I think it's important to talk about. We do get a lot of these very weird wars where people with 1k declare on people with no K, and they manage to siege out everything but the forts, and then they never have a fort or enough war score to do anything, and that's just kind of it. They just have these small little wars and go home. So we've almost achieved world peace. We've just got a bunch of really random, irrelevant wars. And I guess at some point we might be able to see a country with like 1k declare on a country with 1k, and then they can have a little duel, and then nothing happens again because you can't exchange provinces because you never ever occupy a fort. That just doesn't happen. You never have enough troops to occupy a fort. So we've kind of achieved world peace in the sense that nations can't really change borders militarily. You can only ever change borders if the peasantry of the country demand the borders to be changed, which is certainly an interpretation of the term of pacifism, but I'd say we've mostly succeeded here. Certainly a lot of rebellions that no one could put down. I mean, if you just look around, Venice is not having a good time, Brandenburg's not having a good time. I mean, just basically any nation, I guess, rebels is really screwed. See a lot of weird tags. Hey, Fulo popped out, that's neat. Of course, none of them have troops or anything, and I guess manpower's not been depleted. Oh, and Ming's not doing too hot. Unfortunately, they also can't put down rebellions. They somehow do have mandate, but they are, yeah, popping out nations from them. So China's very slowly and leisurely imploding, and Korea's also not having a good time. Ashikaga, though, man, Ashikaga's doing great. They've actually managed to annex a bunch of people. So we might actually see a united Japan as Ashikaga just politely asks all the daimyos, unite. So that'll work. But yeah, nothing too incredible here. I honestly thought we'd see more scaling from the AI at this point, but the development is looking relatively normal. Maybe we'll need to go past 1500 to really see any changes. And the buildings aren't anything special either. Like, France has built some workshops. France has built pretty much actually all their temples. You know what? I take that back. France has built their temples. So if you don't have a 1k stack, you can definitely get your country going. I mean, if you're the Ottomans, this is a great time to be an Ottoman. Turns out your army, very expensive. If you don't have one, you're winning. I mean, this is such an AI moment. You have a 0.23 mosque to build, and you're sitting on 3.7k, like what? And 0.31 workshop. Oh my god. Okay. I think there's enough evidence to suggest there's been a bit more scaling, to be honest. Initially, I remember looking around and it didn't seem too much, but I think the bigger countries managed to get away with it. They're also suddenly offset by any country that ever managed to get a 1k stack and bankrupt themselves, though. And Portugal is colonizing, although I very much hope that they did take the native policy to prevent uprising. Yep, they did, thankfully. Because if the natives ever do rise up, that's it. They can't put them down. Like... That's it. And Carabias is a thing. That's neat to see. Right, let's run this thing to the 1600s and see what we're faced with. And unfortunately, we're going to have to cut it short in 1535, because regardless of what I did, I went through the game fast, I tried to fix this, the game would crash on the 15th of December without fail, every single time. It would also crash so badly, it crashed the crash reporter, meaning I never got any logs of why it was crashing. I have no idea why that's happening. But basically, in December of 1535, this game just says nope, and ends life. The rebels got bad. Every single nation is now plagued with rebellions, ranging from Crimea to the Ottomans, who, by the way, is currently in an independence war against the Ottomans, and for a while had all of these provinces occupied until the Ottoman rebels put them down. Every single country is now struggling with rebels, because if you ever get rebels from an event or anything, that's just it. You just can't put them down without bankrupting your nation in the process, which of course would give you more rebels. There's been like minimal expansion pretty much everywhere. Every single tag, it's almost 1444 borders, with the exception of all the rebel works of art, including this beautiful Ming, which by some miracle still has 49 mandate, but has no country left. The rule of Ming is reduced to central China, and for some reason this one province near Tibet, so I guess they held on to this one. Congratulations, because even though it is a Tibetan core, no one has any other cores on it, so yeah, that's a thing. And yet again, we see the pointless 1k wars by Jing into the Mongols. They're never going to be able to take a fort, so all of these wars are entirely pointless. They just never do anything. Ashikaga is though consolidated, but again is now unfortunately big enough to be susceptible to random noble rebels. Africa looks very 1444, apart from the new countries popping up, as does honestly most of the world. It's like a time capsule, but with rebellions everywhere. The natives did their thing, but nothing too remarkable, but we actually are seeing colonies, although the problem is with these colonies popping up, countries like Newfoundland and, in this case, Denmark and Danish North and Eastern Maine. Sorry, the Danish Northeast. What a weird colony name, the Danish Northeast. Anyway, they're now big enough to get rebels of their own, so they are not going to be having a good time. So the moment you hit anywhere near a critical mass, so you might be able to start affording troops, or even conceiving of troops, you just get random rebels that occupy a country and burn you down. I guess Caribbeus was the real winner the whole time. Poor Aztecs, they have to have their doom mechanics, they have to go for it, but unfortunately, yeah, no, I don't think they're ever going to win a war. Yeah, the Aztecs are just screwed. Good time to be Novgorod, though. Absolutely nothing's happened to you until 1535, apart from, you know, the peasant rebels, as Muscovy is also dealing with all their random rebels the whole time as well. And the Reformation is in full swing. I guess not having any troops around doesn't really affect it. But yeah, a shame really about two things: that I couldn't get this running to 1600s, and how I couldn't really prevent the AI having this 1k stack obsession. I can't really reduce force limit below 0. If you take a look at France here, they're on minus a huge amount of force limit from the base value, but they're still going to be sitting on 1 force limit, and even by making troops cost 1k a month and hence have a base maintenance cost of 25k a month, yeah, they're still going to build a random 1k stacks. And the issue is that they do this and then they screw themselves over because they can't afford the 25k a month maintenance on it. Not really. Well, I mostly achieved world peace. I guess states can't really do anything, and peasants in particular run the current world as some kind of cruel anarchy. So, you know what? I'd say that it's mostly peaceful. Well, most of the way towards pacifism. Anyway, that is all I have time for today. Thank you very much for watching, with a special thank you to my channel members, especially Ark, Solar, Slemon, W Haste, Sebastian Haller, Chandog 2.0, Nick Huss, Doug Fortuna, Big Salad, Leb Josh, Gay Fug, Clockwork Norse, and Golden Arrows.